GTA 6 is losing value by the minute. To have people pay $20 to $30 to just watch a trailer a little bit sooner is absolutely mind blowing. And the best part is, I don't think this is gameplay. I don't think trailer 3 has even a single shred of actual gameplay. I think it's just gonna be the developers talking about what they did to make the game and probably what they made first so it runs on consoles because we already know that that's gonna be a thing. So GTA 6 is in a pretty bad spot. Not a lot of people are in high hopes, let's just put it like that, about what's gonna be the outcome here. There's a lot of red flags, there's a lot of unanswered questions, and well, nothing's getting better as time passes, just more questions are piling up.
So let's begin, ladies and gentlemen, with this announcement from Rockstar Games. So after we heard rumors that August should be the month with significant information on GTA 6, here is the official post. It comes from Rockstar, and they say, Grand Theft Auto 6, an extended look, premieres on Netflix Thursday, August 27th at 3 p.m. Eastern Time.
Yeah, an extended look, nowhere does it say gameplay. I mean, if they wanted to show gameplay, they would say gameplay. They are 100% very aware and in tune how much people demand the gameplay, how much people want to see the gameplay. And the fact that it literally just doesn't have straight up gameplay in the title is kind of bad.
And yep, that's right. You're watching it right here. A trailer for your trailer. Now, I will say this on an expectations level for this GTA 6 extended look. I mean, it's in the title. A lot of people say trailer for a trailer like I just did as a joke, but I think the reality is that this is going to be like a good, I'm expecting at least a half-hour showing. I think it should be a lot. And I think it's because, as we're going to get into here with the pre-order numbers that Take-Two hasn't shared, but they say have beaten their expectations vastly, that
anything is going to beat their expectations. Anything is going to be good. They don't have to be truthful about it.
Not showing anything has worked. So I think this is it. This is your moment. You will get this, and there will be nothing else until launch. That is my prediction. They have turned this reveal into an event. It's going to be a nice chunky look at the game. You'll know everything you need to. You might get some new interview bites, but that's it. Content creators, y'all are going to starve. Now, with that Netflix reveal, as I showed here, 3 p.m. on August 27th. They also post on their Twitter here that GTA 6, an extended look, will also launch on the official Rockstar's YouTube channel and GTA 6 site at 9 p.m. So there is a 6-hour gap between the release of the trailer on Netflix and the release on YouTube. So now,
you know what's the sad part? There's probably a lot of people who are going to actually pay money to Netflix to watch slop. That is just sad, okay? And a lot of people are probably going to do it just because it's GTA. A lot of people don't care. A lot of people don't have enough money, but they're still going to buy it. It is pretty sad what's honestly happening here. All these anti-consumer moves. People should be up in arms, angry. Most people watching this are pretty angry about the fact that you need to pay $30 for a fucking trailer. Because that's honestly just completely unacceptable on every level, obviously. But the CEO of Rockstar is kind of insane. Another video about him is going to probably drop after this. Because, yeah, the guy's saying wild stuff.
Netflix paid, no doubt, a massive bag for what is ultimately 6 hours of exclusivity with this gameplay reveal. And I mean, wise bet to make. You're definitely going to get a nice surge of subscribers for the month here. And I can't even begin to imagine how much that they had paid there. I got some thoughts on this that I don't think are super popular. I would say that there's a way of looking at this, to be fair, of no game is really ever going to reach this height for a long while. And special games, special circumstances. At the same time, I worry about companies that look at things with like their tongue hanging out of their mouth. They're like, okay, we don't have GTA, but like, what can we do to kind of like, I think Drawn Out, he wrote it in chat perfectly. In the case of GTA, to explain it well, the ad is the product. So people are going to go out of their way to see it. Whereas most companies want you to see the product. They're like, we need to put this in front of you wherever you are. But for companies that do happen to hold those games, Like, have we taken it for granted that we could expect Elder Scrolls 6 at some sort of showcase? Or does it get its own event now? And what does this lead to?
Oh, Elder Scrolls 6 is always going to get its own event, and it's going to be a disaster.
Where, to me, just the kind of precedent feels a little slimy. Like we're paywalling access temporarily to a trailer. But the reason they're doing this, comfortably so, is because, number one, they're not only making money off of this, no doubt, but the other reason is because the...
You know what this is going to end with? It's going to end as everything else. This is just literally a rinse and repeat of the MMORPG everyone wants to be World of Warcraft era. Everyone's gonna do their fucking retarded, completely useless, no one cared, no one asked, Netflix reveal. Okay, they're gonna do the YouTube premium. Whatever, they're gonna do something. And only GTA is gonna be the game that actually succeeds in doing it. Every single one else after this is gonna have a 100% plus failure rate. Yes. And this is going to completely ruin and kill it. And people are going to stop doing it. Because every company is going to instantaneously try and attempt it. And they're all going to just hit against the brick wall and grind themselves down to nothing. Which is going to be beautiful. I'm going to be for that there all the time, boys. Listen, all these companies that do this sort of stuff, they don't deserve any pity. They deserve the worst. And they're going to get the worst. Because they're delusional.
The pre-order numbers are unprecedented, and the reality is that by showing you absolutely nothing, Rockstar has made a shit ton of money. The whole silent treatment has worked, although a lot of people, like myself, have been like, yeah,
It has not worked. The only reason this works is because everything they do now works, because GTA is a cultural phenomenon. If we remove that, this marketing would completely collapse and everyone would mock them.
not pre-ordering until I see more. There's way more people who have pre-ordered, according to Take-Two CEO Strauss Zelnick. Where did we learn this all? This was thanks to Jason Schreier of Bloomberg, who did an interview with Strauss Zelnick, and there were some interesting comments here that I wanted to highlight here. So let's go ahead and give it a bit of a read here. He says, Take-Two Interactive Software opened up pre-orders for Grand Theft Auto 6, and the results have been unprecedented and astonishing, says Strauss Zelnick, the CEO for Take-Two. In an interview Friday morning, Zelnick wouldn't share pre-order sales figures, but said that they have vastly beaten the company's internal forecast.
The fact that they're not actually sharing the pre-order sales means that they are not actually as massive as we would imagine. We're probably not even talking about 5 million pre-orders, which is still obviously massive, but it's not as massive. If this thing had 10 million pre-orders, he would have said so. Good numbers are good, and well, whenever you don't say a number, you know it's not as big as you would think.
And calls the numbers exceptional, which I do think carries some weight. I do think that carries a lot of weight. They're not giving us numbers, but we all have these.
It does not carry any weight. This is just typical corporate speak. Exceptional can also mean shit. Exceptional could literally mean one person pre-ordered it. That's also exceptional and fits the definition of the word. Again, without real numbers, all of this is just PR speak. Do not fall for it.
Dreamy numbers, and I can only imagine what they're thinking with how much money they've spent on this game. Like, we need it to hit this many numbers. Like, the anticipation's huge. And the fact that it vastly beat that is crazy. You know, the forecasts have said from analysts that we're looking at already like 40 million copies sold, which is pretty unbelievable when the game hasn't even shipped yet. And we look now, like Alinea Analytics did their estimates for top PlayStation games sold in just July now. And GTA 5 apparently almost sold another 1 million copies. And I said on Defining Duke, I'm like, who are you guys who haven't bought this game yet? Like, what's going on here? Here is more interesting answers from Strauss Zelnick. Why then won't Zelnick share the numbers? He says, we can't tell whether they mean anything. The massive demand for pre-orders we've seen to date could reflect a pull forward of sales that otherwise would materialize in the fullness of time. Very eloquent way of just basically saying, like, we don't know if this is just the scope of the sales or if there's more to come. So fun. There's more people who could buy GTA 6. And I guess that's clearly...
There's going to be a huge influx of people who buy GTA 6 probably after Trailer 3. There's usually like kind of typically 3-ish waves of when the pre-orders hit big. It's on the release of the pre-orders where every super fan is interested in it. Then it's obviously right before the game releases. People are like, okay, I'm gonna buy this, I'm gonna play it, so might as well pre-order, even though like a couple of days are only left. And then there's the people who buy it because an event happened. Because there's like some kind of reveal, some kind of gameplay announcement, some kind of this, that, or whatever. And this is gonna be trailer 3.
Case because, GTA 5, man, like the fact that it's still selling to this day. Again, I'm like, who doesn't have this game now? In other words, this is an unprecedented situation, and Zelnick says he doesn't want to mislead investors by sharing raw numbers before they have a more complete sales picture. This pre-order demand could simply be reflective of sales they had anticipated.
This also is not good. Because if the sales would be enough for the investors to deem it worthy, he would say. He knows what the numbers that the investors expect are, and he knows what the numbers actually are. So if he doesn't share this with the investors, that means whatever the investors are waiting for is not there yet.
At or after launch rather than a massive outperformance. I've reminded people that we simply don't know the demand curve because it's just never happened before. Given that, we think the raw numbers could potentially be misleading in a direction we wouldn't feel good about. Now, continuing on, they talk a little bit about what's going on with the console market, right? Because the thing with GTA 6 and why it's so important to the industry and why it's arriving at what would have been the right time is we're deep into a generation. Here comes a Rockstar game that sort of revitalizes the industry. That's how it usually went, right? Because what would happen is you'd be sort of at the tail end, like think of GTA 5, and most people already have the 360, so Rockstar's install base is massive already. And then for those who are straggling, these consoles are on a deep discount, and so people would buy in on the discounted hardware. So now platform holders have more customers to sell to, and it's like a high tide raises all ships. So GTA or any Rockstar game, seminal releases like this were always good for the industry. The difference is now that there are still millions of consoles out there, right? There's 90 plus million PlayStation 5s out in the wild. Xbox has over 30 million, which is not nothing. But those are the only consoles that matter in this case, ignoring things like the Switch and the PC for the time being, because there's no GTA on those platforms. That inability to sell hardware at an accelerated pace at a proper price point, mind you, I think can hurt GTA a little bit. And by hurt, I don't mean like it's going to damage its sales, but the industry at large that usually benefits, it's mostly going to be an existing install base that I think goes for it. But I'll be curious to see how many people.
Yeah, at this point, I'm also actually questioning this GTA 6 going to be a boost for consoles because there is no discount. Man, he's right. There is no discount. There's nothing. In fact, consoles are more expensive. So, are you going to buy an overpriced piece of junk that's literally going to be obsolete? Probably, unironically, literally, in a year or two? Are you actually spending money on that? I don't know. I would. If I wanted to play GTA so bad that I would buy a console, I would not buy a console. Well, that's technically already what I'm doing.
Go for hardware with its current price point now. Again, it still could be a high tide raises all ships, but it was cheaper to buy in the last GTA, is my point. Here's what he had to say on this, though. Grand Theft Auto 6 will only be out for Xbox and PlayStation consoles on release day, a potential headwind given the broader dynamics in the market. Both consoles have seen significant price hikes and face concerns over shortages due to ongoing chip crisis caused by spiking demand from data centers. Zelnick says he's not thrilled about the price increases, but he isn't concerned about potential hardware shortages. Quote, "We believe the install base around launch time will reflect our original expectations. The only thing that will cause me to be concerned, not worried, but concerned, would be if we somehow felt the number was going to be smaller than we thought, but that isn't the case, again, based on those pre-orders." Zelnick added that he would nonetheless be happier if the price weren't going up for obvious reasons, like I just described. And that while a supply shortage...
And again, it means that he has obviously thought about this and that this situation is not currently good for him, because he wouldn't say this if it didn't matter. Which means he actually is contemplating worse things. Again, there's a lot of corporate speak going on here, but we have dealt with a lot of corporate speak on this channel. And if you have watched many of my videos before, we sometimes get into this. And You can actually gauge a lot from this corporate speak, and currently all of the Strauzelnik answers about GTA 6, they're not bad. It's not like he's actually worried. Don't get me wrong, he's not actually worried. But it definitely seems like it's not beating what he actually wants it to be. It's probably, and what he wants to be, what they put as a goal is probably higher, but it is pretty clear that whatever's happening with GTA 6 is not actually beating his own personal expectations of how high this thing can go. So I'm actually very interested when we're going to get the GTA numbers, what's really happening here.
Wouldn't please him. He is frankly a little skeptical that's the case. Does he know something we don't know? This is all we're hearing now, and granted, I'm eating it up. I'm always buying into this. Yeah, there's supply shortages, man. This sucks. Is that true? Or are companies being a little cheap and they don't want to pay these prices? Nonetheless, he's not worried right now. And because they're making a lot of money, no reason to continue to worry, right? He's like, we're good. We're good. Zelnick would not offer any specifics on the Netflix deal or how it came together, other than to say that they're great partners and that the two companies have multiple ongoing collaborations. Several of Take-Two's games, such as Red Dead Redemption, are available on Netflix's video game service. He says, I do think there's reasoning behind this. I think when the title is launched on Netflix, if you watch it, you'll understand more. And, this is the guy who was saying that, like, what they're doing with GTA's marketing is going to be unbelievable. I hope this delivers on some level. I wonder if Netflix gaming is going to have like any sort of interactive map exploration thing. I don't know. I think there's got to be more to it beyond the extended look. Does Take-Two benefit from the deal beyond whatever financial terms the publisher may be getting? Zelnick responded by citing Netflix's sizable customer base, which currently tops 325 million subscribers around the world. It seems to me this is a must-see event, and I'll leave it at that. This fucking guy. Now, this last part here, I think is one of the more interesting questions that Schreier's asked in recent interviews he's done. What will the CEO of Take-Two be doing on the launch day of the most anticipated video game in history? Relaxing at home, throwing a massive company party, appearing on Bloomberg TV? It's ultra top secret at the moment. But at some point before that, I'll be happy to talk to you about it. So when he's talking about it, like it's a must-see title and he's got more plans for launch day, it sounds like we have yet to see all that is truly unprecedented in this industry. But nonetheless, those are...
Oh, yeah, obviously. There's going to be something else. They're going to drop something else. If they find a way to milk the audience even more, they're going to do it. If YouTube asks for a special thing, they're probably also going to do it.
Strauss Zelnick's takes on what's going on with GTA 6. And I mean, again, the big thing to take away here, I think, is the lack of marketing has worked from their point of view. They're not worried about any hardware shortages because their pre-order numbers are crazy. And the only reason they're not reporting those pre-order numbers is because they've literally never seen anything like it. The numbers are that high where they're like, we're not really sure where investors should be at with all this. That's unbelievable. The silence worked. For all the bitching and moaning people had about this project, the silence worked. They didn't have to do anything. They just had to open pre-orders, tell you about the standard edition, the ultimate edition, show you some screenshots. It didn't matter. The ultimate edition paywalled content. It didn't matter how great the videos did shitting.
We don't really know if it didn't matter. We don't have any information to say it mattered or it didn't matter. We just know that there are people who are pissed, and we also know that there are people who are literally, I'd buy it for 500. Autistic. Yeah. So we don't know. A lot of these things, listen, boys, I will guess anything. But here there's literally nothing to guess. It's way too early to do any kind of predictions of anything. We still have no idea. And anyone who claims that they do is just kind of lying, and that's kind of it.
On that, it didn't matter. The silence worked. And he seems to not be concerned about any hardware shortage like hurting the long-term growth of GTA. Probably because eventually this game will at least come to PC. You have to think, right? But I thought his answers were really interesting. However, that was not the end of it. Because during a Q&A, with some analysts following the company's Q1 2027 financial release, he talked a bit about one decision that was not so well received by hardcore gamers, and that was the no-disc version of GTA 6. So...
yes, of course. The one thing that gamers did not like is something that can be swept under the rug on Sony, of course.
Let's go ahead and take a read at what Strauss Zelnick had to say over here. IGN writes, Strauss Zelnick, boss of Rockstar parent company Take-Two, has defended the company's decision not to release GTA 6 on a physical disc, insisting when it comes to big games, discs really don't make sense for the consumer. My favorite. A multi-millionaire corporate exec telling me how to feel. Speaking during a Q&A with analysts.
Mr. Matty, thank you. I said the same thing, Mr. Matty. Great guy, friend of the channel, the best. I love him very much. He's the best. I know many, but he's special. He's different. He knows what's up. He watched every of my videos. I said the same thing. Thank you for telling me how to feel. Very cool. He did the same. He's learning, boys. He's learning. Soon, Mr. Matty will join the chuds. Soon, Mr. Matty will demand that voids. Okay, YouTube, relax. It's all fine. It's all good, Wink, wink.
Following the company's Q1 2027 financial release, Zelnick declined to speak specifically about Sony's controversial decision to kill physical disc production for PlayStation games from 2028, but did say that when it comes to GTA 6, a physical disc version simply doesn't make sense. Quote, our business is...
This is wild, by the way. This goes directly against what I actually predicted. Because, bro, you're Rockstar Games. You make like one game every fucking decade. Who honestly cares about Discord no disc? I thought that they're gonna have no disc, and then they're gonna release a disc. There was actually news, and they said things about the fact that, it sounded like there's gonna be a disc. Not having a disc at this point is kind of insane. We're literally banking that people fucking buy PlayStations and Xboxes to play on launch day. And now you're gonna tell me you're gonna miss out on the free tendies from a disc? Just sell it 2 months later. What are you doing? People are gonna buy it anyway. Well, like, what the hell? Fucking make it that the disc version only works on PlayStation or Xbox and doesn't work on PC if you're afraid that that's gonna bite into the PC market share. Like, come on. The fact that they're not gonna release a disc, and keep in mind, this has nothing to do with Sony. This has nothing to do with Sony. So they can. I actually would not be surprised if there is a disc version, but it's just, for example, Xbox.
Well over 90% digitally distributed. It's already digital business. So in certain instances, especially if it's a big game, discs and note I said discs don't really make sense for the consumer. Also, most instances, you have to register online to play anyhow. Sure, I love that shit. So if you're already connected, who cares if you download digitally? It's all the same, and it's much more convenient. So
thank you, Strauss. I love to eat Z-Bugs. I like to live in the 5-minute city, and I love the idea to die without not knowing freedom. Thank you, Strauss. You're such a great guy. One day these people are gonna get exactly what they deserve, and it's not gonna be pretty, but it will be entertaining for me.
So this is why I get my back up a little bit about Rockstar, about Take-Two, because one day, we will have a good conversation, I think, at least. Because right now is not the right time. It just, people will not allow this conversation to happen. Like, because everyone thinks it's an attack on GTA, and it's really not. But GTA does hold a very unique, I think the right word is responsibility to the industry. And it can open and close certain doors that other games can't. Do I think we're looking at an open door for $80 games where it's like, hey, this is the new ceiling now, right? Mario Kart flirted, Outer Worlds didn't make the cut. We're still seeing resistance to it, but this is firmly creating the ceiling. We can go up that high. And I think you'll start to see it over the years for, say, games like Elder Scrolls 6 happen more regularly. Like over these next 2 years, you're going to see a more regular occurrence of $80 games.
Well, duh. Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be $80. I think everyone knows that.
Same thing with discs. Can you imagine what the conversation would be like right now if PlayStation went, we're killing disc production, and then here comes Take-Two, and they're like, we're actually doing a physical run of GTA 6. The biggest game of all time, as we continue to hear over and over, unprecedented numbers. There is an argument to be had that GTA 6 could have kept that door open. 100%.
I am honestly wondering at this point, either they're gonna have a disc release anyway, or, do you think PlayStation paid them not have a disc? Do you think Xbox and PlayStation paid them to not have no disc? Because Xbox wants a disc. I'm pretty sure Xbox is using this opportunity to kind of sock one to PlayStation with their no disc decision that everyone hates. So I'm wondering what's happening here because again, I just don't see the logic. I don't see the reasoning to just not have a disc and release it after the actual, uh, you know, digital download. I don't get it. I don't understand it.
Because it's not just what it would have done at launch, it's about the long-term sales. But my favorite thing here is just continuing to tell us that it doesn't make sense for the consumer and it's more convenient. All this is like, you already have to register online to play anyhow. Man, this is just enough.
I mean, I wish I didn't have to register online to play. In fact, I kind of try to avoid games that have that register online garbage. Like, do you want to register your account? No, of course you don't. No one does. It's shit. I I really think making a modern game that people like is honestly just getting rid of all the fucking retarded nonsensical tactics that a lot of these games use, like register your account. No, just don't. Do this, do that. Here's a newsletter. Oh my god, a newsletter. Are you kidding me? Which is one of the most diabolically stupid things a game can ever do, have a newsletter. Anyway, that was Mr. Matty Plays. 10 out of 10. Have a nice day. Bye.